visual aids. The old cliche is true: a picture often is worth 1,000 words. That is why charts, diagrams, and other graphic aids are part of most business presentations. Well designed graphics are also easier to understand than words alone. As a speaker, you may choose from a wide array of visual aids to make your presentations more effective. Of course, you will not use all of these graphics every time you speak. Sometimes objects can add interest, increase clarity, and provide proof to your presentation. When you do use an object or model for instructional purposes, make sure the item is large enough for everyone to see. If the object is small, it may be better to show the audience a photo or video of the item. Furthermore, it is always a bad idea to pass an object around for the audience to examine. Doing so will likely distract the person who has the object at a given moment, as well as the other people who are craning their necks to get a preview. It is important to practice using your model or object to avoid unpleasant surprises during the actual presentation. Photographs can be the most effective means of illustrating a variety of images that need literal representation. Photographs also provide an excellent form of proof. The use of infographics is increasing as a means to visually represent information or data. These types of graphics are especially useful when complex information needs to be presented in a manner that is clear and easy for a wide audience to understand. Diagrams are abstract, two-dimensional drawings that show the important properties of objects without being completely representational. These graphics are excellent choices for conveying information about size, shape, and structure. Lists and tables are effective means of highlighting key facts and figures. Lists are especially effective to illustrate steps, highlight features, or reinforce main points. Tables are useful when you would like to compare related facts such as advantages and disadvantages, current and past performance, and your product versus a competitor's product. Pie charts illustrate component percentages of a single item. They are often used to show how money is spent, but they can also illustrate the allocation of resources. Bar charts compare the value of several items, the productivity of several employees, the relative amounts of advertising money spent on different media, and so on. Simple column charts reflect changes in a single item over time. Pictograms are artistic variations of bar, column, or pie charts. They are more interesting than ordinary bar charts. Their attention-getting properties make them especially useful in presentations aimed at lay audiences. Pictograms are often not mathematically exact, however, which makes them less suited for reports that require precise data. Graphs show the correlation between two quantities. They are ideally suited for showing trends. They can also represent a large amount of data without being cluttered. Graphs can chart a single trend, or they can show a relationship among two or more trends. Some presentations may benefit from video support. If you are illustrating some sort of action, video may be the job that does it better for you than any other medium. Choosing the most advantageous way to present your visual aids is just as important as picking the right type of visuals. Even the best photograph, chart, or diagram will be sloppy if it isn't displayed effectively. When dry erase boards are available in a presentation room, they can be useful for recording information that comes up on the spot, such as brainstorming ideas. When you are presenting pre-planned visuals, though, it is generally best to use a medium that does not require you to turn your back on your audience and write or draw freehandedly. Flip charts consist of a large pad of paper attached to an easel. You reveal visuals on a flip chart one at a time by turning the pages. You can also place the visual on a rigid poster board, which you can then display on the same sort of easel. A major advantage of flip charts and poster displays is that they are relatively simple to prepare and easy to use. With a computer and data projector, you can present a wealth of material during your presentation. With the right setup, you can even use a computer to create visuals during your presentation, like a website demonstration. Handouts provide a permanent record of your ideas. They also enable you to give your audience more details than you want to discuss in your presentation. Handouts may also reduce or eliminate your listeners' need to take notes. The biggest problem with handouts, however, is that they can be distracting. Presentation software allows anyone with a computer to create and deliver a professional looking presentation with text and visuals. Presentation software helps speakers in many ways by enabling them to generate customized materials on an as needed basis. Among the things you can do with a good software program are the following tasks: deliver an on screen show with special effects, organize a set of speakers' notes for yourself, prepare a variety of handouts for your audience, create runtime versions of your displays so you can distribute copies of your presentation to people who may not have seen you speak, create charts, graphs, and tables. Every competent speaker should be able to use presentation software when the need arises. But like any form of technology, presentation software programs can cause new problems at the same time as they are solving old ones. Presentation software makes it relatively easy to create charts and graphs, import images, integrate animation, and wrap all of these elements up in a handsome design. Even so, if the structure of your presentation is not clear, listeners will not understand your message or believe what you say. For this reason, it is essential that you organize your points clearly and back up your claims before you begin inputting your message in a software program. An all too common mistake is to spend more time on the design of a presentation than on its content. Even the most sophisticated designs will not make up for weak ideas. The best way to avoid the seduction of favoring form over content is to create at least a rough outline of your material before you start presenting software to construct your visual aids. Just because you can use presentation software to create elaborate computer productions, that does not mean you should always use it. A digital display may dazzle your audience, but the spectacle might actually draw their attention away from you and your message. A presentation is hardly a success if listeners remember your terrific graphics and elaborate animation, but they cannot recall the points you made. Another danger of overly elaborate presentations is the possibility they will make material more confusing than it would have been if presented in a simpler way. Whether you are using handouts, poster boards, flip charts, slides, chalkboards, or computer displays, be sure to follow the basic rules of selecting and designing. Like any part of your presentation, visual exhibits must be chosen carefully. Use a visual only when it makes a point better than you could with words alone. Be sure you have a reason for using a visual aid. Visuals used for their own sake will distract your audience from the point you're trying to make. Keep your slideshows brief. Keep in mind the less is more rule. The chances of listeners recalling your points is inversely proportional to the number of slides you show. Match the sophistication of your visuals to the audience. Presentations to important audiences usually require polished graphics. For routine talks, you can probably produce perfectly adequate exhibits on your own. In any case, you should not mix informal images with more formal ones. Confusing or sloppy exhibits will be counterproductive. Make sure the visual is large enough to see. The visual that looks so clear on the desktop in front of you might appear almost microscopic from where your listeners are seated. Remember, a distracting or unclear visual aid is worse than no support at all. Keep the design of your visuals simple. Show only one idea per exhibit and avoid unnecessary details. Use only a few words. Most exhibits are visual images, so you should avoid excessive text. Captions should only contain words, keywords, or phrases, not sentences. Use only horizontal printing. Avoid vertical or diagonal wording. If necessary, place captions in the margins so you use a horizontal format. Label all items clearly. Make sure each exhibit has a descriptive title. Label each axis of a chart, each part of a diagram, and so on. Display a visual only while you are discussing it. Both putting up a graphic before discussing it and leaving a graphic up after you have finished talking about it are confusing and distracting. Make sure your visuals will work in the meeting room. Double check the availability of easels, screens, and other equipment you will need. Make sure electrical outlets are in the needed locations and extension cords are available if you will need them. Practice using your visuals. Rehearse setting up and removing visuals smoothly and quickly. Review the comments you will make for each one.